Hello everybody, it's AmigaRob here, and today we're starting a new series of videos. Yes, we are going to be looking at old comics, well, fairly old comics, and we're going to start with this one. It's going to be seasonal as well because this one is exactly 23 years ago today this was published. It's the Halloween edition of Beano, and the Beano well, it's been going since about 1936 or 38, or originally was going to be a series of 5 comics that was going to come out. There was the Beano, the Dandy, and then there were going to be 3 others. I think they only got as far as 2 of the original plan because I think war breaking out made a bit of a difference. And the Beano got its name because they used to call it when they went out on a trip, going on a Beano. And the Dandy was another word for going out on the trip, party, office party type thing. And when I was a kid, I was, for a while, absolutely Beano bonkers. I used to wear Beano outfits, clothes. I was a member of the Dennis the Menace fan club. I liked the Beano a lot. I used to get a lot of different, and doing this series, I'm going to get some of the comics I used to read as I can locate them because I actually burnt all of my comics very many years ago. So as I'm locating them, I'm going to do some. Also going to do some of the comics that I never had. The ones like you'd see on the shelf, and I think, oh, I wish, because I used to go into the shop and I used to think, oh God, I wish I could have these comics. I wish I could have that comic. I used to think, oh, all the big boys, and was about 5 or 6 or something. All the big boys there is get those comics, and there's some that were gone by the time I was old enough to get them. So, but I think I was about started getting the Beano, and I've got some. We're gonna look at some interesting comics as time goes along. But today we're going to be looking at this one, the Beano. It's from number 2467 from October the 28th, 1989. And nothing free on the front of this, but a nice piece of artwork on the front with this kind of cross-hatched kind of dither thing. It's very nice. Expression of darkness. I really loved the art style of the Beano around this time. I think now it's like a very what's the word? It's a lot more. I don't know. I kind of look at it. It's 24 pence this, by the way. At this time, this is 1989. I think it's about £3.50 a week or something now. The Beano. It's still a weekly title, I think. So there's the front page. Let's have a look at the story. Normally, the story would start on the front and then go onto the back, which I've always loved. That design. Laugh, it'll make you howl. Oh God, the humour. So here we go. So, gonna have a flick through standard Dennis type story after Walter. They call Walter the Soffit. I don't know if they even now, but something I love about these comics, and this is a slightly odd paper stock for this comic, but the colours always look fantastic in the Beano. Where they have colour. Looks like Dennis is getting his comeuppance in this one, so Gnabbar. Really nice. And this is like a 33-year-old comic. The actual paper quality is, it's not even really yellowed that much. A few of them paper stock around this time. Billy Whiz used to be one of my favourites. I used to try and draw Billy Whiz. Always everything about it is like trying to show action. You know, it's I like it. I really like this stuff. The thing, there's everything about Billy Whiz. They try and make it so it's like as much action going on as possible. I mean, no, it's a little bit Batman with the whoosh and the whiz and the whoosh and everything, but I loved Billy Whiz. I used to try and draw him. I've probably still got copies of my attempt to draw Billy Whiz somewhere. And it looks like they've put the sporty guys all together with. I think that's. Is that Rangers and Celtic? Ah, I think it's Rangers and Celtic. Two Rangers and Celtic guys. Don't know who they are, but they. Yep, and very long time ago they were having multi ethnicities in the Beano. The person with some depicted with some darker skin there. It's lovely, but I like this, and the styles contrast on either page. This is very cramped. Billy Whiz is very cramped, and lots going on. Over here on Ball Boy, it's a little bit more spacious. Now, this is a great example of how wonderful the print quality is in the Beano, because I mean, this is really there's hardly any fade on there, hardly any discoloration on the actual base paper. This feels like a slightly unusual um, paper stock that they're using, but I think the Beano did use some of the absolute best, particularly in this era where they changed the color print. We're going to look at another Beano at some point, or a few other Beanos that just a little bit before this, they used a completely different type of paper and the slightly different page size format, and the inks were a little bit different, but the inks are just gorgeous. They look here, but there's hardly any dithering. I mean, they just use solid color. I mean, that pink doesn't look like it is a dithered pink. It's just a solid pink. It must be so expensive. I don't think you'd ever find anything printed like this now. And like there's just like I was thinking, well, they use a certain number of passes on the print, and maybe that's why this is the background's yellow. If the Transformers comics are great examples. They sometimes inked things in certain number of colors, but when they came to print, they cut back and they didn't print in all the colors. But actually, I was thinking they were cutting back on the greens, but no, there is green. They've deliberately decided to do this on this kind of light yellow and brownish background, orangey brown, to sort of depict the seasons, because there is green on this page here and there's some green there. So it's a lovely quality of print, and it's a real fine print. It's beautiful. It really is. I just love it. Look how orange her hair is. They really skimp in these days. I know I should compare it with a current Beano, but I don't think the print is going to be anywhere near this. Like you can feel the paper is saturated with ink, and even like these blues, they're just so gorgeous, and they are slightly dithered to get the variations. You have to dither it a bit, but it just looks lovely. These kind of watercolor wash back, very abstract this page, but just with that dab of green here and there. It's not a cost-cutting measure. It's an artistic choice. We got ourselves a Sherlock Holmes parody here, The Hound of the Pisket? Picnic Basket. Um, Typical, I think that's a one-shot. I don't know how many of those they ever did, but I don't get this. But here you got an advert for TikTok, number 5. A super 3-in-1 package for little children and parents to read and enjoy together. Now there was quite a market still just about at this time in like kids, real tiny kids comics, and they're really hard to get hold of. There's not many. I can't think of the name of them now, but there's not so many of them around. And the BBC used to knock out a load of those things. So I guess these guys DC Thompson have sort of tried to getting on that market. I don't know how long it lasted. The price is £1.45. You get 3-in-1 package, 5 super free stickers, fun book, playbook, and the storybook. Huh. Oh yeah, so this is what we got here. Ivy the Terrible. Um, Looks like she's drawing herself bashing Minnie the Minx. I like it, the crossover between the comics in these things. I'm going to draw me Bashing Me in the Mix. She's just kind of drawing. She's stamping on it. Silly me in my temper. I can't draw now. Some cakes. What's she doing? Oh, she's using food stuff to make an art attack of Minnie the Minx. But look at it. I love this stuff. I used to look at this stuff. All these. I mean, it's a lot of work gone into this. And again, beautiful color print. The lovely, beautiful. The palette of the Beano at this time is just so nice. And again, lovely, beautiful print with similar sort of kind of watercolor background on this Frosties advert here. Now, this is something you don't always see so much of, Frosties adverts, or adverts in general, because they're not often not preserved. But they try to integrate them into the comic, and they make strips. And okay, it's probably the same one every week that you'll see for a few weeks, but it's still really nicely drawn. The colors are really nice. They're beautifully printed. Um, I love it. It's nice. What can I say? Hey Tony, what goes up and down and makes you laugh? Well, it's easy, Tom. My free joke machine. Oh, I think I remember these things. Okay, Tom, try this. Which road has diamonds down the middle? They're great. Oh, I did it out of order. Should have been here. They're great, just like my Kellogg's Frosties. What? It says, Tom, try this. Which road has diamonds down the middle? A ring road? No, a dual carriageway. That's a real gem, Tony. Hey, I make the jokes around here. There are 15 joke machines to collect, or 4 on its side each. So get your 15. Wonder how long it would take to get all of these things. The full rib tickling set has hundreds of jokes about sports, spooks, monsters, cops and robbers, farmyards, fun, and many more. Now there is a guy that has a website dedicated to those freebies. So, wow, there's a lot of adverts in this Beano. Usual, I would say. Don't think they actually started doing adverts until around this time as well. Probably coincided with the change in the print quality. Again, lovely number 13. I just love all this. I remember like every week I would sit and read these things, all the names, look at the pictures, I'd look at the artwork. I wanted to draw. I always wanted to draw and be good at drawing, and it wasn't until I was a teenager I got a bit better, and I was hopeless really. But these characters, they're in the style of the old Beano style. Ah. So we got Mandy. That was a girls' comic. I think that's gone. Top value all story paper for girls. 10 terrific serials every week for 28p. Oof. The Double Life of Dolly Brown. In Search of Sarah. Alison's Uncles. Ooh, blimey, sounds a bit devious. Um, the Secrets of Megora's Pool. A Friend Like Frida. They call it agrobatics. 2 times trouble. Beth in between. Picture story Polly. And my kind of dancing. Free. One complete storybook like these with Mandy number 1190 in the shops November the 1st. Wow. Oh, and there's the other things the kids. Free stamp collector starter kit. Fabulous starter kit. Usually over £1 is yours. Absolutely free. And post free contains, I should hope so, contains 14 different items: album magnifier, tweezers, hinges, pair of stamps, 175 flags, watermark detector, perforation gauge, and other, or gorge, whichever we want to say it, and other exciting items to introduce this great hobby. We also send our special approvals by any lot for half price, £2. Tell your parents. So I guess they send you stamps and you take them on approval. If you don't want them, you send them back. Did you know it's true that saying those stuff? But this, I think I might have even have had this one. This is the Bash Streets Kids. Is it the special edition they called it? What do we call it? From the Beano 1990. I think I had that one. Special seasonal edition, £3. It was like a book, all with the Bash Street Kids. I think I had a Dennis the Menace, and I think I had a Beano one, and I think they've gone up in flames since then. Oh, Bash Street Kids. Yeah, I did like the Bash Street Kids. And here they are again with that beautiful colour. They've gone for the same palette. I love the consistency. The walls are yellow. I mean, it's nice. It's a colourful place. They've got a mountain range in the background for some reason. Don't quite understand why they have a mountain range in the background. It looks kind of western. Um, but yeah, the Backstreet Kids were great. Oh wow, the Beezer was still going at this time. So the Beezer was another one of the um, set of magazines that DC Thompson eventually put out. For a while, it was Beezer and Chips, and I think it amalgamated with Topper at one point. I could be wrong. Um, but the Beezer, I guess it must have finished not long after this. And it came with a. Oh, this was the beauty. You used to get sweeties with the Beano around this time as well, and the Dandy. You get free stuff. Hey readers, when you get your Beezer issue dated November the 4th, you'll find a McCowan's Dennis the Menace chew bar. I've never actually seen a branded one. And this guy seems to be in the old style. I don't know who this guy is. Not sure if I've got any Beezers, but we'll find out. Roger the Dodger was one of Dodgy's way out of all kinds of things. Again, really nice style. A few different styles I had in the Beano at this time. They kind of were compatible, but they were different. Um, oh, I liked it. A page and a half for Roger the Dodger. Looks like some kind of martial arts guy is with this time. I'm deliberately not reading the stories because I don't want to break any copyright. Wow, okay. This has got colour photos in. I mean, wow, they really have pushed the boat out. Never seen, and they are really. That is a really nice quality of print as well. Really nice. Some guys that made a Beano. Some joke. Meet Jane Digby, daughter of the Beano scriptwriter and model for Ivy the Terrible. Apparently, do you know any Beano lookalikes? Have you? Let's see. So what she does is cause Beano. Now the badge, the fan club. I used to be a member of this, and of course I've lost my membership thing. But you used to get like a little wallet thing. It came with two badges in. It was 45. Fantastic. What runs around and what's round? What's round and furry and smells of mint? A polo bear. That's a reference to the glacier mint. Ah, nerds. Ah, now I think there might be a story to again. Look at the colours in this. Is just absolutely gorgeous. The print. I mean, I've forgotten how bad, how good the Beano could be sometimes. For that, look at that minty colour of green, and that is a beautiful advert. It really is. Nerds are back now. I think, and I could be wrong, but I think the reason nerds were back, they're having to make a big thing was because there was a food contamination scandal. And I could be wrong, but I think there was. And glass was got into. Oh, I've just realised I've got no power in my machine. Let's get that switched. There was a contamination scandal where I think glass got into these things, and they had to take them off the market. So maybe that is why its nerds are back. But nerds, oh, I mean, they've caused me so much damage to my teeth. I wish I'd never had the things. But little boxes, I think they're an American thing. You still get them in America. You still get them in the UK, but they're sold as an American product now, import, I think. Um, but at the time, these came in. You got the two boxes. They were the trendy sweets to have. And yeah, still get them in America. Lord Snooty, which was right back. I think he's the longest running Beano character. I think he was in the first edition. I think most of these are reprints, but yet they still follow the older style, which I think is a bit more in the Roger the Dodger style. Maybe not actually, but you do. They sort of, maintain that original kind of look. of the kind of way of depicting the very realistic face. Um, and then you can contrast it straight away with the Dennis style faces. It's kind of ovals with very oval rather than very sort of humanistic, realistic. National Nippers, a little extra bit. Biffo. I think Biffo was the front page character on the original Beano, and I suspect this might be a reprint. It might be. It's been colorized. But I think he's always been a silent character. Although having said it, looking at him, this looks like a newer style, so maybe this is Biffo. Yeah, and with the helmet, so this is it's a more modern helmet there. So I don't know, it could be a reprint, but I think this is an original. What's he up to? It's down a mine, apparently. They got the canary. What's happening with the canaries? Let the canary go, and he's chipping away at the... Well, okay. Another stamp collection. 111 stamps free, all different. Wow, there must have really been people trying to get rid of stamps. Flowers. This is when kids used to have good old-fashioned hobbies, you know? Those were the days. Rotostack, who make hamster cages and stuff and containers and tubes. I don't ever remember them having adverts in the Beano, but apparently they did. Rotostack Productions, Harrison Hanser, Search for the Wonder Wheel. Again, it's clever. They integrate everything into an advert. I have to say something. This isn't a Halloween special magazine. Well, not special. There's nothing Halloween on the inside of it. So they were probably just, it's really just a token thing for it. Space Station, Armitage, Colwick. Not well. That's funny because I'm not far from Colwick actually, as we speak. I didn't know they make these things in Colwick. Crazy. Wonder if they still make them there. The Wheel Found. So yeah, they turned that into a little story, and I suspect Beano probably produced those. Danny's Nanny. This is about a kid who's looked after by a dog. And yes, now Calamity James is interesting because I used to like Calamity James, and I think in the Dandy they had like a kind of parallel script. Was that called The Nerds or something like that? This very grotesque world. This is a bit more sort of like the Viz type style, and I do wonder if it's a similar artist doing this. Um, and I don't know whether this was the Beano copying the Viz or the Viz copying the Beano if it isn't, but I used to like Calamity James. Always getting into a mess. But then again, this great design here, squeezing in little bits of dialogue horizontally, little bits of word. I mean, there's so much text on this. But yeah, I think is that the last page? Yeah, that's it. So that's a little look at the Beano, the 28th of October 1989, number 2467. I didn't think it was bad. I used to love these things, and I'll be doing more comic book reviews as time goes along. And yeah, so keep an eye. Until next time, get subscribing and liking and comment. You got any like to comment? Look at that. I didn't really properly appreciate that they've made lanterns with their face. It's a lovely cover. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. There'll be another one of these coming along soon. You take care.